Welcome to the Intercourse Show. I'm your host, Mr. B. In this live segment, we are reacting to a Kevin Samuels interview. Shout out to the Godfather, rest in peace, that he did with a delusional modern woman. At least that's what it's titled. I haven't seen this one, so let's go ahead and react to it.
I can hear you now.
I am not sure of what happened. I apologize.
That's all right. How are you?
I'm doing well, and yourself?
Okay. Oh yeah, you were trying to get on early in the audio.
Yeah, I wanted to just talk to you and ask, like, what is an acceptable career for, a Black woman?
That's a broad question.
Yeah, what do you think is an acceptable career?
I don't know. Depends on what do you want?
So
see, when you ladies often come in and ask me, like I'm just like an oracle, and I'm asking, what's the outcome? What is the outcome you want for your life?
So what I meant to ask, my apologies. What I meant to ask is, what is an acceptable career for Black women that'll help them be able to have a valuable man, like that'll help them get a valuable man. What is acceptable career to have? That is
in general, am I on Bluetooth?
No, I'm up. We're in the car, and I'm trying to. Give me one second.
You have headphones?
You're on my AirPods now.
Okay. In general, one of the biggest issues with career women and so-called high-value men is your career is your number one priority. And these men require being number one. So let's say you're a physician. That's a physician, an attorney, nursing, anything that requires 60 plus hours means you have limited time to date.
True. Very much so.
Okay.
I just will say, for me, I have dated a lot of men with value. I'll say that. But I always get of course, where you come from, I get the runaround where, I work too much, or I'm trying to be too successful, or I get you're trying to be the man.
Yep.
I get that all the time.
Looking for a CDLA driver job? We can connect you with driver jobs in your area. Here.
So
the thing is, money aside, what kind of life do you want?
I want a life where I feel safe with the man, in that I can be able to still do everything I love, but have a company.
What do you mean?
What I'm saying, I want to still have.
What do you mean everything?
Like
everything you love, like
I like to paint. I like to make candles. I want to do things that I love, and genuinely like those time, and be a wife.
Do you want to be a mother?
Yeah, I do.
How many children would you like to have?
3.
You got to give all that up. Or buy a dog and paint and make candles. See, you ladies today want it all, and you cannot have it all. No one can have it all. Life is about choices and trade-offs. Every 2 hours you spend painting or making candles, you're taking it from your children.
Very much. That's true.
This is a great point that Kevin Samuels just raised. He's talking about the importance of prioritizing your life. And I think this is something that is conflicting for a lot of modern women, in that they don't want to accept the reality that it's tough to balance both your career and raising a family. Now, there are some scenarios where if the man is not doing enough or bringing enough in to help the family, and she's doing the majority of the work on the work side, then it's tougher, right? In terms of how the family does it, which oftentimes is the case. There are times where the men aren't doing enough to pull in their weight. So the wife has to work. And I think everyone has to be, reasonable in terms of how they interact with each other when that's the scenario. But for the majority of men who are able to provide for their family while their wives are at home with young children, I think the expectation is that the mother plays more of a role in a household. And for a lot of career-oriented women who's been told their whole life that their independence is a superpower and that they should pursue that to no end, what happens is family planning takes the back seat. Their careers gets prioritized, and then they, in later parts of their lives, want to now consider family after they've accomplished certain things in their career. And that becomes harder to do because by that time, those women aren't able to have children. They probably have had a lot of, relationships that may have left bad impressions on them. So they become a hardened version of their original self. And then the pool of men interested in dealing with an older woman who can't necessarily give them children, or who don't want children, or who already have children, diminishes to a very few men. And then, the script looks different once that's the case. And what he's saying is young women need to, sort of look at the playing field early and determine what they want to do. Do you want to pursue a life where, you're starting a family during the years where it's optimum for you to have it? Or do you just want to pursue your career and understand the trade-offs related to both? I think this is the point that he's trying to make here.
Or I can add that into teaching my children.
Selfish.
Just saying.
Yeah,
So,
see, but see, it's about you at that point.
True. And I do want to ask, does it make it about when a man tries to force their son to play football, does it make it about them too? It force them into sports and everything?
Well, I don't know why he's forcing them, but oftentimes you ladies consider something forced when men know better than you. Because here's the net of it. Let's say you and I were married, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Kevin Jr. I'm putting Kevin in martial arts. You may say, I don't want my son to get beat up on. But see, I know better than you because one, my initial nature as a father is to discipline. Your initial nature as a woman is to nurture. When a kid falls down, your first nature is to go kiss the boo-boo away. My first nature is get up. Now, if that was our biological child, there's going to be a time when you believe you're right as a mother. All your instincts are going to say you're right. But I'm the father, and I'm going to say, my biological instincts are going to say, right, which way do we go? Your way or my way?
Mm-hmm.
Which way? Can only go one way.
I would try to go my way more.
If you have ED, you might need to work on your mental game. When you're aroused, your brain releases dopamine.
Then buy a dog and die alone. Because you as a woman, your instinct is to nurture. If you are trying to go your way, especially with the boy, you're going to make the very men that you despise.
This is a great point. What Kevin was just trying to establish is who has the last say in the household. Now, this exposes whether or not a woman has subscribed to a traditional relationship or if she's subscribing to a modern relationship. In modern relationships, women want to do what we're calling partnerships. They want it to be equal say between both parties, meaning like if there's disagreement, if they both can't agree on something, then it shouldn't be done. That's essentially the partnership approach. In a traditional relationship, as described in the Bible, the man is the head of the household. So that's not to say that the man should make decisions without the input of his wife or his lady. You know, any wise man should seek counsel from a person that he's, living with or dealing with or who's there to help him. But upon receiving the counsel, the man may take her advice, or he may take his own advice, or it's a different approach other than the ones that she's suggesting. Now, why that question is important is, will the woman be comfortable with the decision once the man makes the final decision? Or will she then work to undermine the decision because it ultimately wasn't the decision she wanted made? What he just did is expose the mindset as to whether or not this woman can allow a man to lead her and to take that position. And a lot of times what you find with a lot of modern women is that they don't want leadership. They don't want men to lead them. They would prefer to be in a scenario where it's either a partnership where they both parties have to agree before a decision can be made. Now, there are some scenarios where your man goes to you and he says, hey, I think we should do this. And you say, no, I think we should do this. And he agrees with you and says, you're right. Maybe it's too early to do this. What I was thinking, let's not do it. Yeah, I agree with you. There are some scenarios where he'll say, I think we should do this. And you say the opposite. And then he says, no, I think we should do it my way. But once that decision is made, you have to be, if you're his helpmate, if you're his partner, you have to be supportive, and you have to know that he's making a decision, factoring all the different inputs and all the different points of views. But the decision he's making is in the best interest of your family and your household. So even though you may not like it, you have to be with someone whose decision-making abilities you trust. And so when he makes a decision, you can't personalize it and make it seem like he's doing it in spite of you. And what he just did in a very tactful way is demonstrate how a lot of times it's hard to find agreement or cooperation from modern women, because in their minds, if they're in a relationship with a man that they're supposed to be submitted to and they don't agree with him, then that means whatever he says has no standing with them. It doesn't apply. So they're going to do their own thing anyway. And that's disheartening for a lot of men, because who wants to be with somebody, who wants to lead someone that don't want to follow? So that's why Kevin is getting to this point here.
I get it. I get it.
So
with me, and you say, well, I say with me, I tend to attract men where, and I don't try to attract this. I tend to attract men where I am looked at as more dominant.
yeah, because they're the only ones who'll put up with you.
Oh, okay.
I mean, okay, listen to what I'm about to say.
Fired. Shots fired. That's a mic drop moment though, right there. So Kevin just made a really, really good point. A lot of times when a woman has got masculine energy, most masculine men will clash with them because they're not going to be overruled by someone who they're supposed to be leading. So that's not going to fly in a household where a guy is an alpha and he's like, nah, we're doing it the way I just said. The only men typically that would comply are the ones that tend to be more, beta-like, in that those men, and that's what she's exposing, is those are the men that typically some women can run over because they don't necessarily have convictions that they stand up for, and they're willing to do whatever the woman wants to do. But what happens is, once they do it that way, if that woman's instincts were wrong or that decision was wrong, she's going to blame him. She's going to say, well, why weren't you man enough to tell me not to do it? It happens all the time. Like, you should have been a man. Why'd you let me do that? I'm supposed to be following you. Why you let me? It's hard when you're dealing with women, man. It's like that. So what he's saying is, there's a certain type of men that would allow you to get your way, especially when they believe you're going the wrong way. And those are the men that typically pander to women because they feel like they have to, as a way of keeping them around.
The kind of men that you would listen to or that are more dominant than you won't put up with your incessant challenging.
Mm.
They won't, because it doesn't have to. And it won't be rude. He'll just choose to find someone. Feminine energy and a woman's choosing to submit is respectful cooperation. I don't know if you've ever, what do you do for a living? What's your profession?
I am a property manager and I own a candle company.
All right. Well, if you understand that men want peace,
Mhm.
and we don't want to be questioned and challenged consistently all the time. And if it's always, well, why, or why, or why, it's not going to happen. And the men that will allow that stuff will tend to be men who were raised by my mother, or more used to having a woman in the leadership role. But then those are the very men that you may get your way initially, but then you end up either breaking them and you end up leaving them. Have you ever dated a man of value who left you?
Yes.
When your relationships are over, who ends them? You or the guy most of the time?
We're having a little technical difficulties, but I think we're back now.
And the other
Okay.
two have ended them because I tried to date men of more value and tried to submit.
Well, see, you shouldn't be. I mean, why is respectful cooperation so hard?
It's not that it's not hard. It's about a respect. If I'm giving you respect, I deserve that too. That's where I'm at. Like if I'm treating you well and giving you everything that you desire, you should do the same.
Before John D. Rockefeller,
Let me interject here. This young lady just said something that was very important. She said she tried to date men of value, and so that means she wants to deal with someone that she can respect, someone that she looks up to, someone that's influential to her, probably in a better financial situation than she is. And she tries, but for whatever reason, she's having a hard time submitting to them. And then her reasoning is because she feels like they're not respectful of her, or things of that nature. This is signaling to me that she likes to be in control. So there's the wish list, the qualities she likes in a man. She's probably attracted to alpha men, but she wants those alpha men to do what she wants, which is hard to find a combination of that. So when there's an alpha man who is someone that she respects, now if that man has an opinion, or if he has a direction he wants to go that may not align with her, there's going to be pushback from her. And oftentimes that's probably what's causing rift between her and those men, because they're constantly clashing. Her masculine energy comes to the surface and it clashes with that man's energy. And that's why Kevin is saying, well, why do you have to try to submit? Submission should not be something that people have to try, especially if you're a female. It should come natural to you. And when I say submission, I mean, as a female, you do have to be selective as to who you submit yourself to. But if you're choosing to be with someone and you're giving that person your commitment as their girlfriend, then that means you made your selection, that you felt this guy was worthy of you and qualified to lead you. So once you made the decision and made that person your man, why do you have to try to submit to him? These are the things you have to gauge prior to coming into the relationship, becoming becoming committed. Putting you in compromising situations that potentially puts your health or your well-being at risk. These type of things, provided that that's not the case, at some point, it shouldn't be that much effort. So the fact that she's saying, I have to try to do it, tells me it doesn't come natural to her, right? She likes to lead. And there's actually scripture in the Bible about stuff like this. The Bible says that a woman will desire to control her man, but he shall rule over you. I think it's in like Genesis 3. This is all biblical. So it shouldn't be out of pocket when you find that some women, they want to lead their person as opposed to allowing that person to lead them. And it is something that has to be taught. Now, I don't know what her upbringing was that may have made her think that this is the way to approach relationship. But this also explains why these women are getting older and having a harder time finding their prototype man that they think would best suit them. It's because they don't really have the skills to keep that man around once they do get him. They're pretty. She's a very pretty lady. But the question is, attracting the man is one thing, but how do you keep him? How do you work with him? How do you cooperate with him? How do you do life with him? That's the part. Kevin said something very important. He said, men value peace. They want a woman that brings them peace. So if you're a woman that a man's always clashing with, you are fighting about everything, that's not bringing peace. And so therefore, it's going to be hard for that man to be in a household where there's always clash that's taking place between you and him.
Who said that?
What do you mean?
No, that's not really clear.
Okay. My apologies.
I'm just saying this. But if you give me anything I desire, that's what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But if you're doing it with the expectation, that means it's conditional.
I'm not, well, I think everyone does it with expectations. It's just that when like my previous relationship that I had, I was being the more vulnerable, like just understanding it. It wasn't even like I was trying to do it. It was just, that's how it turned out. Like that's how the relationship progressed. And I tried to, I was more affectionate and everything. And it still got me where.
What do you mean more affectionate? More girl?
I have to be mentally connected to someone.
To have sex?
Yes.
So being with you, a guy doesn't even get consistent sex?
They do.
Consistent sex the way men call consistent or the way you call consistent?
The way when he asks for it, he gets it.
Okay. So is it starfish sex when you just lay there or do you actually get into it? Because if you have to be connected to them, that's a longer process.
It's more of connected into it, doing a lot.
So were your mother and father married?
My mother was married to my stepdad. My father was in prison.
Okay. So if you're getting the whole thing that you've been in your masculine energy, have you ever been in your feminine energy in a relationship?
Yeah. When I was married.
When?
I was married at 18. And I was very feminine towards him.
Uh-huh.
In my feminine, I did everything. I cooked, I cleaned, I catered, but it just wasn't, I guess, enough. He ended up getting another woman pregnant. So, and he still to this day wants me.
How much older was he? How much older was he than you?
About 5 years. 5 years older.
Do you come from a nuclear family?
He came from a wealthy family, very successful family here in Seattle.
So you married a trust fund baby.
No.
A 23-year-old trust. So it came from 23 years
He started.
Trust fund baby meaning.
So no, he started a business at the age of 17, and it's very successful.
Right.
He didn't get his money from his
But you
parents.
said he came from a wealthy family. Okay, but bottom line, the man was 23.
Okay.
Too young.
All right.
Too young.
He was definitely not 23 when he got another woman pregnant, but okay. I
Okay.
don't understand how women can give so much to men.
No. You gave to that man. Don't do that shit. You gave to that man. That's your problem. You made a 23-year-old. You made a 23-year-old guy. He was too young for marriage. I don't think men should be starting to think about marriage to 30 because we're not in a mental position.
I can definitely agree with that. I can definitely.
So you don't relate. Have you had any therapy?
Yeah, I'm in therapy currently. I'm working on my past trauma.
Well, because the stuff we bring into relationships determine the outcomes. And if you're going to say what men did, no, you did that with that one man. And to be in a hardened masculine position, man, it's all rooted in fear, scarcity, and lack, which dwells in anxiety and stress. It may look like you have it all together, but that's not how women operate.
True.
It breaks you eventually. It breaks you. Don't.
Very much. That's true. I can agree with that.
And the
I'm
problem
sure a
is
lot of people have problems with you.
because they don't watch. And the problem is because if you choose to not address it, what happens is you get older and we get more set in our ways. So men expect women in their 30s. See, women who address their traumas in their late 20s and 30s should be better positioned than their younger counterparts.
Mm-hmm.
But the women who have it, they walk into situations with the guards up and red flags looking for the exit. So, high value. Why?
I feel because I know I'm going to be very successful. I am successful, but I'm going to be more successful soon. I want to be able to have someone with more or equal value. And it's just one of my friends over here had the question, and I don't know why she hadn't asked the question.
You because you're gonna be financially successful.
Whoa.
I'm financially, I'm doing well, but I'm talking about like setting up for my children, ensuring that my children have the trust fund babies.
All right. High value is more than just money.
Yeah, I know.
There's 6 parts to that. But do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're married, pregnant?
No. I'd rather my company do it and I can be at home doing nothing.
So your husband's going to have to carry the lion's share of the family financial load. What percentage of the family financial load do you want to have to carry for a lifetime?
I think I should be able to carry 50.
Then those two things don't line up.
How?
Well, you don't want to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant with your first child. You want 3 kids.
I don't want to work. I want to have a successful company where I can hire a team to do everything.
But that's really okay. You don't just go pick up. Okay. Listen, you don't just go pick up checks. You don't just go pick up checks. Work has to be done.
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
This is what.
I still would have to work. Mm-hmm.
Well, so again, so you want to hide this. So what kind of household family income do you want to make?
Household income, I would say my goal within the next 10 years, because I just got a business loan. My goal right now in the next 10 years to make just by myself would be 3 million. And household, I expect us to at least be millionaires each, equally. He's got
Well, good luck with that.
Good luck.
You want somebody in the 1/10 to 1%? How old are you?
I'm 28.
1/10 to 1%. The harsh reality is men that make that kind of money don't accept masculine women. Absolutely non-starter.
Every
don't-
man I've dated,
Okay.
every man that I have dated are millionaires.
Mm-hmm.
I've dated a billionaire before.
Okay.
So.
I don't deal with dating. I deal with marriage as the end goal.
Oh, man. Okay.
See,
I see that. Yeah.
See, they don't marry these. They'll play with you. They don't marry. They don't. Okay.
I got a
Anecdotally,
restraining order on one. Just saying.
okay. Anecdotally, well, but what you don't have is a marriage license, for one. Anecdotally, okay, you don't.
Okay.
Anecdotally, and this is the problem, because your goals are way up here. Men has had to be way up here. How many women you're competing with all around that man? The women want to submit and don't have to go. Here's the truth. High values of men is rare. Attraction or pretty or attractive is one is common. And men don't really care about money.
Okay, I'm gonna chime in. Kevin just made a really, really good point. It is true that a lot of women believe that men regard their finances as much as they regard a man's finances. And that's not true. A man doesn't so much chase a woman solely because she's got a good job or she has a PhD or she has good education. I mean, those are great qualities to have as a woman. And if you can bring them to the table, great. But that's not the core qualities that the man looks for. His qualities are very basic. Are you fit? Are you feminine? Are you friendly? Those core things, ladies, outweighs so many other things. Now, if you're fit, feminine, friendly, and you have a good job, and you have a good head on your shoulders, and you're productive, and you bring other attributes to the table, it makes you even better. But if you have as I was saying, if you had all those attributes, but you didn't have those core attributes that was mentioned, the fit, feminine, friendly, you know, the kind, the loving, those attributes as well, it doesn't translate the same way to a man, right? That man, in some ways, wants his lady to be tolerable. He wants to be able to enjoy his lady. So I think that's the point Kevin's trying to raise here.
And they don't care about your money or that kind of stuff. So this is why it is far more likely that women in your kind of income position end up getting men that are beneath them. They end up getting beta males to be husbands.
So men with that kind of money are not beta? males is what.
Or
is
you
what
could
you're
be
saying.
you could be a beta male. Beta male is a man who would allow his masculinity to be continually challenged by you.
Okay. I get
So
what
you know when you're around a man who won't put up with your shit.
you're true. I just have been around a man that I would say was more dominant than me, and he's proposed to me. I chose not to marry him only because of I'm not about to accept a lifestyle of, you know, him just I it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain. I'm just not about to accept that lifestyle.
Yeah, exactly. See, I want you to understand. See, this is the thing. You ladies want everything. You want a dominant alpha male who's rich, and you want him to be monogamous and only report to you. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And
Oh.
man, it's absolutely not. Russell Wilson and Sierra, you can't judge by athletes and entertainers and these kind of things. Absolutely not.
I don't look at
That
anyone's
you
relationship
can't
like that.
men you guys want men who are sexually attractive, alpha male. This man is a platinum encased diamond, and you want him to be solely for you. He
Actually,
women want that man. It doesn't happen. It doesn't
can I say
happen. Well, here's the thing. I'm talking to other women too, because you ladies got to understand is these men are in high demand, and women worldwide have always recognized you are likely going to have to share him if he decides he wants to be shared. Kings have always had concubines.
So I will say I didn't. It was about the respect issue. I didn't mind if he. So I would say in my first marriage, I didn't mind no matter what he did outside of it, as long as he was protected and it didn't come back to me.
There should come with rules. True.
Yeah, and as long as it didn't come back to me, he chose to get another woman pregnant and use.
But we're not talking. We're talking about the last one. You said you didn't want to.
Yeah,
put
so
up with
so my ex-husband is also a millionaire, and then the last.
No, but I'm not worried about
Okay,
this last guy. You said you wanted to marry.
The last one, I'll explain that one. The last one, let's just say he's an athlete.
I don't count them. I don't count them. I don't count them in my high value schema because they don't have to make the money like the rest of us. See, people who have to actually go become millionaires know our worth. We don't. And no disrespect to athletes, entertainers, and musicians, but money comes differently. When you have to become a business person and earn it, it's different. Then you know your value, and you're not going to waver on your value. That's why Melinda Gates accepted Bill going out with his girlfriend, because men that are that level have options, and it comes with rules. And if you don't want to accept those options, there are thousands of you. No offense, but it's like going to the DMV. You got a number. I mean, we got to remember what you're bringing to the table for this guy is as rare as what he is.
Can women do that? Can women do that too? Can women do that too?
No.
Okay.
Not with the kind of men they want. They can do it with lesser men. You absolutely can, but not with the kind of men you want. That's the double standard.
Even if it was,
see the men,
if they were at the same level, like a.
No. The men that you would willingly submit to and get wet for and do all this other kind of stuff, you would not accept what comes along with it because in your mind you're his equal on some level, and you're not.
Very much. Yeah.
You're not.
Okay.
So this is why women in your position end up with guys who pedestalize and worship them, but the kind of men that I'm talking about were like, I'll go down looks to go up in cooperation, but that kind of money, I have to go down in anything. I get it all.
It's true.
And if there comes with rules, the rules are no outside kids, no diseases, don't put the family at risk, and no public embarrassment. But as far then there's the ruling class, and then there's the populace. Have you ever known men in the ruling class to be strictly monogamous? You don't get 7 billion people on the planet with monogamy. I mean, and I think it's kind of arrogant that modern women are the first group of women who think that I should get the dominant alpha male millionaire and everything else, and he just gets my one vagina. And your attitude, because you know what happens when that happens? When you have a man that has to, well, are you in the mood? Are you attached to me? Then you start punking him.
True.
Gotta have my Tuesday sex. Men, it's not even a man. It's not even as though men want to exercise the options. The options keep you in acting right.
Okay.
Women need pressure.
I hear you.
Or because you wouldn't marry the accountant.
I wouldn't.
You don't make enough money for it. You talking about millionaires, man.
I wouldn't, but
Good luck with that one. I'm just gonna say you want a very, very. If you talk about millionaires, you're talking about in the business class.
Getting someone of it's very common to get a man that's wealthy in Seattle. It's very common.
No, it's very common to screw one, not marry one.
Well, I married.
I only count,
but
it's not common. It's not common. They're not common. See, that's you got to stop that. It's not common because these men are not common. A man in the 1/10 of 1% is anything but common. And the fact that you got one and you left him for whatever reason, why do you think you get another one? Why do you why do you get to win the power? No, think about what I'm about to say. Why do you get to win the world Powerball and then get to do it again? Some of you ladies are just greedy.
I don't think I'm greedy because I still have this guy emailing me and trying to get back with me, and he
because they want to sleep with you.
No, my ex-husband, he still wants.
Okay, okay, all right. But see, the problem is the guys that you want ain't worried about you. Okay.
Okay, at this point, this lady's trying to flex. So in her mind, she was married to a guy earlier. That relationship didn't work out. The guy was successful. And she's pretty enough that rich guys would invite her over and try to have a night. Absolutely. I mean, she's a pretty lady. But his point is the way we keep score is by marriage certificates. How many of those men are trying to build a life, want you to be the woman that mothers their children and raises, a generation of their legacy, beyond their lifetime, right? And really and truly, when a man assigns his last name to you and says, you're now a part of my flock, that's when it really matters, because that man is saying, I choose you above all other women I can be out here playing with. So when she gets to see she's doing a little bit of a flex thing to say, well, they're still on my phone, they'll still hit me up. Ladies, men are horny creatures. They're going to call your phone. They're going to try to see what's up. They're going to try to spin the block. They're going to try to revisit that if their experience was positive the first time around. That does not mean that they ultimately are begging to be your person again and they want to marry you. So for her to make that point, it's her. Maybe she's feeling like he's downplaying her value, and now she feels the need to bring that point up. But really and truly, what Kevin's trying to say is, we're keeping track by whether or not these men want to actually take you serious, not just have a night with you.
They want you to be here right now.
I don't know. I see it.
No, you're capping. No. And I see, here's the thing. See, and this is the funny part. You can do this right now because you're 28, but every year there's a new 23 or 24-year-old. And eventually this dies out. I talk to women who are in your position or higher, and they got stories. And I don't understand why y'all don't seem to learn that that eventually you have to pick somebody and just get out of the game before your time is up. You've already had one, and you think you can just leverage this and okay, cool. And if you only, especially if you don't talk about dealing with a certain class of men, man, what do you expect? You want it all?
He just made a really good point. A lot of times women feel like their beauty is going to last indefinitely. And what he's saying is right now you're in your prime years where you should be able to secure someone that you respect, that loves you, that cares about you, and to put all your eggs in that basket and to focus in on building a life with that person while you're at your prime. It's all about leverage, ladies, right? You want to make a deal when you have the highest leverage. You don't want to make a deal when you have the most baggage. Same thing for men, right? A man who's in a position to appeal to a woman of this caliber has options. So that's his leverage, right? If he's already successful, if he's already got things going for himself, if he's well put together, if he's established, if he's got a good foundation, and he's amongst the very small percentage of men who make a certain amount of money and has a certain amount of influence, he's got options. She's not the only pretty face who wants his time. So he's going to make a deal at the time when it's most optimal for him to do it, when he's got leverage. So what he's saying is, if you wait, if you bypass your golden years running the streets, living your best life, being outside, getting ran through by a bunch of different dudes, by the time that guy comes to make a deal with you, especially if at the time that you come to make a deal, you have a lot of baggage, whether it's you've been with a lot of men that, you know, may not have done you right, and now you have a bitter heart and, you know, a distrust for men, or it's harder for you to even follow a man, or you're strong-headed, and, you know, it's just harder for you to acquiesce to the needs of these type of men, then it's perceived as baggage. And what he's saying is there's a new 28-year-old that comes around every year. So if you think you're the last 28-year-old that is attractive, you got another thing coming. And that's what he's saying. It's the ratio tilts in favor of the men who have means and has leverage, right? There's women who haven't been through your traumas, who are just as pretty, if not prettier than you, and who don't have as much of a wish list that man has to meet, and probably has far less baggage. So if you're not workable, he's going to find someone to replace you, and vice versa, right? And what he's saying is, don't play with your opportunities. Don't miss an opportunity because you got the wrong advice and you was outside wasting time. Instead, focus in, be serious about your life, and actually lock into a guy that has potential and that can work with you to build a life. That's the point I think he's making here.
Here's a better question. Are you all of that?
Am I all of that?
Yeah. I mean, think about what you're talking about. You want a man who's a multimillionaire and so forth. And then are you that to him? Are you meeting all his needs?
Yes.
Bullshit.
Okay. That you can say.
Have you ever asked a man that?
Yes, I have. I actually do have discussions with men and get an understanding. I don't just, go with the flow.
All right. So, well, if that's the case, then you're the first woman I've ever met that can actually say that, and I don't believe it, but that's okay.
That's
the net of it, the net of it, though, man, then you shouldn't have no problems. Life should be an oyster, your oyster.
I'll make sure I get back. I don't think I actually have problems, honestly. She just wanted me to get on here and ask the question. But
I think what it gets right down to is how nice to say this. It's all good until it's not.
True. it's just I know for a fact if I were to marry a man of that caliber, I will have to set aside certain things. I do not understand that. I know that
yeah.
there's a few that you might be able to get that with, but those come. You might not have them. Everyone doesn't get that chance, so I do understand that.
And again, I don't athletes, entertainers, and musicians. I don't factor them in because to make the kind of money you're talking about typically requires a man being 45 plus.
Yeah.
So then life should be good. And if you're turning down a millionaire, well, he's an athlete. So all the
I
best.
turned him down too, but I also turned down a different one. It's in Seattle, but he has a tech company here. So
you see, the way she said that, it's almost like she's saying it to say, you know, I'm the shit. Like, I'm turning these men down, and he's got a tech company. A lot of times women do things to flex on other women, to boost their little egos up so that they can feel like they're powerful. And what he's saying is, look, you got to start taking this stuff serious. Your life cannot be a joke to you. It can't be you out here playing when you're 28 and those years are closing in. Be serious. Actually prioritize your life in a way that says, hey, I want to be taken serious as a person. Don't let people play with you, and don't play with people. And you could tell the way she's talking gives the impression that this is a flex for her, right? I don't know if she's trolling them, but it gives the impression that she's just kind of flexing. You know, she's just trying to say, well, I have this other millionaire over here in Seattle, and I turned him down too. And then I have this guy here in Texas, and I turned him down. And I was on this billionaire's yacht. And it's like, ma'am, respectfully, you're not exactly married to any of these men. No one's actually chosen you to be their wife. And if that was important to you, you shouldn't just be thinking about clickbaiting and trolling. You should actually be seriously trying to lock in someone that you could do life with. And what he's saying is, ladies, have a sense of urgency when it comes to dealing with your person, or when it comes to dealing with someone that you may want to settle down with. Actually give them an impression that you're not a fun girl that the next highest bidder is going to have a go at. You know what I'm saying? Like, give him the impression that you're serious and that you want to move serious, and also plan your life accordingly in that manner too. Don't, be living a hot girl summer life in your early 20s and just think that it's all going to fall into place in your later 20s, early 30s, simply because all these men who have all this option, who made something of themselves, are going to be on standby waiting for you to settle down. This doesn't typically work like that, right? And what he's saying is, if how you start is by being a fun girl, you often end up being a fun girl. Plenty of dudes will have fun with you, but none of them is going to put a ring on it, right? And that's why he's talking about the athletes. You could tell she's seen athletes here and there. They're going to have fun. Not a lot of them wife the fun girls. You know what I'm saying? Like, they tend to wife the girls who was there when they didn't really have it like that. You know what I mean? And those who do, they approach the conversation different. Either they have a prenup or they just approach it differently. So what he's saying is, ladies, if you want to take things seriously, if you want to be taken seriously, then actually, act with a sense of urgency, be deliberate about how you're moving, and just be mindful that, those golden years where your beauty is at its peak, they're few and far between. They are fleeting. And eventually one day you'll wake up and it'll be 10, 15, 20 years later. And if you didn't plan ahead, a lot of times it makes it harder to get what you want in the end.
And you just turn him down left and right. Turn him down for what?
Yeah, I turned him down, and he's still trying to get at me. But
Turn him down for what? Turn him down for what?
I turned him down because he.
No. He dropped to one knee with the ring of significant heritage in public and proposed to you.
Because he gets drunk
No.
and act out.
Did he drop to one knee in public
Yes.
and produce a ring with significant
Yes,
heritage, and you
did.
said no?
Yes. At a restaurant. Yes, he did.
Mhm.
It's a restaurant called Canlis here in Seattle. It's very nice, lovely place. He proposed to me and I said no.
Uh-huh. And you still talking to him? Why?
I feel like I can pick and choose too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like I can have options as well.
Yeah. Well, you can think that until you can't.
True.
Because the thing is, because as nice as this may sound to your, as nice as it may sound to your ego, but the thing is, man, I got to be honest. If you really had those options like you wanted, you wouldn't be talking to guys who you have to turn down. See, when women have really the options you're talking about, they don't go back. They're always going forward. And I've talked to women who have those options. And I'm just trying to keep it kind of cool, but
I'm not really going back to him though. Just because I decided to be cordial and keep him in as a friend, is that going back?
we're not friends. A motherfucker who proposed to you is not a friend. Stop the count. See, this is what I mean when you get that kind of pretty privilege that kind of goes awry. And this is the stuff that gets pumped to a lot of women, and that's cool. But there's Halle Berry, Stacey Dash. There's always going to be women that are pretty, but pretty ain't enough. We're women who are less attractive, women who are more attractive, who are equally as single.
Mm-hmm.
And what I get, what being tired of is women who talk like you. I got all these options. Then when are you gonna fucking pick and get out of the game, or are you gonna wait till you have no chair left?
I got you.
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Just make sure time. Just make sure time don't get you.
Okay.
But,
Man, let's be.
All right. That was the clip. So the next question is pretty enough? And that's what he's saying. Time is very fleeting. So ladies, be intentional. Lock in, find someone you like, and don't waste time. Like, actually maximize the time you have. The one thing that is true is that time is not promised for anyone. You're here today, and what you do with your time, will ultimately leave an impact on your future. So be mindful, be deliberate, be intentional when you're moving out here. All right. Well, that's it for me on this hour-long show. I thank you guys for joining me for the live session. I'm trying to do more of these live sessions, just to kind of react and to engage with some of my followers as well. But for those of you who's not connected to the show, I definitely urge you to like and subscribe to the podcast, and also to weigh in. What did you think about what we discussed tonight? What are your opinions? Do you agree, disagree with Kevin's points, or do you have a whole different point of view? We invite that into the Inner Core show so we can actually have conversation and get different viewpoints. With that said, I'm Mr. B, yours truly, signing off. Until we meet again, I wish you all the best. May God bless you and your families, and be well. God bless.